Welcome back to Unplugged, Raising Resilience here at Camp Alvernia in Centerport. I am Ben, our camp director, and with me is our assistant director, Badyr.
What's up, folks?
So today we're going to be diving into the current state of youth sports. There is an intense and almost overwhelming pressure on kids today to constantly win, advance in rank, perform, and somewhere along the way they're forgetting how to just play. Which is exactly why I think a lot of parents are looking for alternatives to high-pressure youth sports programs. Badyr, you're a physical education teacher.
I am.
So I'm sure you see this constantly. How do you think that outside pressure shows up even here at camp during a simple low-stakes game of kickball or whatever?
You mean like a full-on game meltdown because they lost or they got out or they missed a catch? There's just a tremendous amount of pressure along the way. And in fact, they end up losing the joy of the game because it's the whole focus has been win, and win at all costs, win on technicalities, win. And not for nothing, it takes away from the joy. And a lot of kids struggle just to play for the pure fun of it. I mean, I see it in kickball, you see it in dodgeball, you see it in basketball. They miss that free throw when the game's on the line. I mean, yes, I get dealing with pressure, but we don't have to deal with that here at camp.
Yeah, and I even think that some kids struggle because they don't think of themselves as being an athlete. And so they might take themselves out of even participating in the game in the first place. So you have every aspect of the spectrum. On one hand, you have kids that are driven by performance, and they get really upset even with just a simple, fun game. And then on the other hand, you have pressure from kids that feel like, well, if I can't perform at a high level, if I'm not good at this, then I'm not even going to try.
They kind of self-select out. They're just like, yeah, I'm not going to do it only because, I'm not good at that. Or I might have missed one goal in my PE class and I'm not going to do that. And they'll just self-select out and do something else, whether it's talk to somebody else. And that's fine here at camp. Mm-hmm. But again, it comes back down to finding the joy of being at camp. Ben, we're clearly not a specialized travel or skills camp. Can you talk about the culture that tries to kind of like decompress these kind of campers?
Yeah, so when parents are looking for a summer camp in the Huntington or the Centerport area, I feel like a lot of them are telling me that they really just want a reset for their kids. And Camp Alvernia's culture is perfectly suited for that. We get to lower the stakes entirely, and we get to create a highly supportive environment for these kids. You know, there's no scouts watching from the sidelines. But more importantly, a child's worth is not tied to, the scoreboard or their performance on the field. Don't get me wrong. We want them to run. We want them to sweat and try hard. But the goal is connection and joy, not winning a trophy. Now, that mindset shift, of course, doesn't happen instantly from school year to camp. So when a camper does have a meltdown, let's say, like we were talking about before, because maybe they get knocked out of dodgeball or Gaga, we usually play Gaga. How do you and the staff handle those types of meltdowns?
So most of it all is just kind of catching it in the moment. It's like a teachable moment or a coachable moment, if you will. There's no yelling, no coddling. It's kind of like, all right, let's go to the sideline. And we kind of debrief with the camper and the child. And we say, it's okay to feel your feels, right? We help them navigate through their anger, through their frustration. And we get them to have what we call a Drainoff period. So feel those feels, take a beat, take a breath, take a deep breath, and we'll count 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. And we say, okay, how's it going? And then we get them right back into the game, right? The idea is, again, just getting right back into it, but acknowledging their emotions and how they feel, but at the same time saying, well, weren't you having fun? It was intense, which is great, but it's a game, and it's just a game.
I think it's great that we're able to help kids navigate anger and frustration, because I think a lot of times sportsmanship falls by the wayside.
It's true.
And a lot of times coaches and even parents will tell kids, use the anger and internalize it and use that to have a competitive edge. But it doesn't always work. And a lot of times it can backfire.
Right. So, I mean, ultimately you want to just say, good game, right? It was great, right? Nobody likes a blowout. No, 100-1, like, okay, like, well, my son scored. Well, that wasn't really a game, 100-1. No good. So, that quick reset, shaking it off and getting right back in line for the next round, especially at Gaga, which, folks, it gets intense.
It really does.
But yeah, that mental reset is huge milestone for kids. Ben, how does the level of emotional control tie back to the core values that we teach?
Yeah, I mean, the values that we have here at camp obviously go back to the Alvernian Way, and being able to respond when you're emotionally overwhelmed or
Mhm.
frustrated in a competition setting is a big part of respect yourself, the first pillar
100%.
of the Alvernian Way. It takes an incredible amount of self-respect and inner maturity to lose a game without, losing your temper along the way. So we sort of recognize that even what you're talking about it's difficult for children,
Absolutely.
especially when they naturally want to win, especially at Gaga, even though there's another round coming up right away
Right
in
away.
just a few minutes. So teaching kids how to regulate and how to deal with those emotions
Mm,
is one of the biggest milestones that we can hit here at camp because we have the infrastructure and we have the culture there to support that.
yeah, we do.
And honestly, I'm always so proud of the campers who strike out and take a deep breath and then they're able to get right
Right back
back
into
in
it.
and play or even cheer for the next person. That's hard to do. It's easier said than done. You have to be able to feel the feels, like you said,
Gotta feel it.
right? But there's that next moment of, okay, how do I reset? How do I move on?
Mhm.
Sportsmanship, I think, is tied to resilience.
Oh yeah, hand in hand.
The ability to lose a game at camp this summer,
Mhm.
but not let that spoil your entire day,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, that really is something to celebrate because that builds character.
Absolutely. Look, we're bringing the joy back to the game, and ultimately, it ultimately builds undeniable character.
Mhm. So, peace and all good.
Be well. Get after it.